Hello guys, and let the justice be served. And I have to be honest, F-16s are particularly good at serving this justice. According to the preliminary analysis of the trustworthy Institute for the Study of War, and not that trustworthy but very desperate Russian military vloggers, it seems like for the first time in the history of this war, Ukrainian F-16 downed Russian Su-34. And what makes this moment even more beautiful and illustrative, it all happened when Russian Su-34 was dropping bombs on Ukraine, and it was punished. And the more F-16s we have, the more of such updates will appear on the channel on our way to defeat and demilitarize Russia. And this week, the implementation of this strategy was quite successful because as I record this weekly update, Russian military depot on the temporarily occupied Crimea in Feodosia is still detonating 6 days in a row, and it was super important for the logistics of the Russian invaders. What is also good, Ukrainian drones have visited a number of military objects on the Russian side, starting from an air base in Adygea, also a huge military ammunition depot near BRYANSK, where the storage of guided bombs was destroyed, 400 Shahed drones neutralized in Krasnodar Krai, and more things occurring all around Russian military objects. So we have quite a lot of geography lessons planned for the next months. Remember to subscribe if you're new to the channel to demonstrate your solidarity with Ukraine and to see Russia defeated and Putin imprisoned. My name is Anna, I'm from Ukraine, I'm in Ukraine, and here I share the news from my country from an ordinary civilian perspective, but a very motivated civilian. And let's start with the beautiful story of the F-16 that managed to neutralize Russian Su-34. According to the preliminary data, it all happened 50 kilometers away from the front line when evil Russian bomber was dropping FABs. These are high explosive aerial bombs, and it was dropping them, causing devastation to Ukrainian people and Ukrainian territories, and F-16 beautifully stopped it. From what I understand, we still have very few of these beautiful Falcons, and we keep them safe. We use them only for the defensive operations, but I am convinced it is much better to intercept and neutralize Russian bombers than to try to neutralize the bombs. Because every neutralized bomber means more of Ukrainian lives saved, more of Ukrainian houses saved, and most importantly, hours, days, weeks of safer situation close to the front lines. Russia had and still has domination in the sky, all because they are heirs of the Soviet Union. They have lots of old Soviet crap still flying since the times of the Cold War, but with very limited resources and unlimited motivation, we keep destroying their aircraft. And hopefully with more F-16s arriving, Russia will start losing their aircraft just as they are losing oil refineries at a very high speed. But in total, since the start of this war, Russia has already lost 369 aircraft, which I consider to be a very good achievement. And another proof that Russia can be defeated, Russia will be defeated. So please join the channel to watch that all happening online. And as we record this video, I record this video, you watch this video, very important for the Russian logistics, for the supply of the Russian army, military, marine terminal, oil terminal is still on fire in Feodosia. Crimea was occupied by Russia in 2014. Since then, this beautiful, designed for tourism and fun peninsula was used as a rotten military base. They have put lots of military bases, lots of ammunition depots there, and oil terminals that are used to fuel Russian soldier machines at the front lines. And the destruction of this very big oil terminal, marine terminal in Feodosia caused serious troubles to Russian army, actually paralyzed their logistics. And what makes it even beautiful, they did not manage to stop the fire and save something at least. The detonation still continues every day. Another 1 or 2 tanks explode, and they simply observe how important for that military object is being destroyed. I think in general, this is a beautiful metaphor to the Russian Empire, because since the very start of this war, Putin actually turned on the process of its destruction. And those of you who are afraid of the dissolution of Russia, please stop, because this process is inevitable, and it was not because of us or of you, of NATO, USA, or alliance. It's because of their imperial craziness. Don't be afraid of that, and simply watch as they are actually good at destroying themselves too. Ukrainian drones visited Russian military airfield in Adygea. What is important, close to this military airfield, they actually keep a lot of bombs and missiles that they use to destroy Ukrainian territory, and such brief but bright, light and loud visits of the Ukrainian angry birds lead to the prevention. And you all know a good English proverb that prevention is better than cure. So permitting Ukraine to strike back, permitting us to be more effective in defending ourselves and the democratic values, we actually do something good. Believe me, it's much better to protect Ukrainian cities than to help them rebuild later. Plus, you cannot rebuild human lives, unfortunately. And that's why when I learned that another big depot of, let's say, cubs and various ammunition destroyed, like it happened this week near Bryansk, it is a true holiday for me personally, because I realized that every destroyed bomb is actually dozens of Ukrainian lives saved. And I don't know why it went so wrong that in this war, in the support of Ukraine, people focus on time, or people focus on sums of money, and they actually stop thinking about human lives. How many of them lost? How many of them saved? And no, you cannot negotiate with Russia, because Russia right now is a criminal war, criminal country that is responsible for hundreds of crimes, and you can never negotiate with people who are actually considered officially the criminals. The International Criminal Court issued orders to arrest Putin, Shoigu, Gerasimov. How can we negotiate with these people? Better demilitarize and defeat them. Also, Ukrainian drones are responsible for the beautiful operation that took place in Krasnodar Krai, and they neutralized 400 Shahed drones. And I loved how people shared photos with questions. Have you ever seen 400 drones burning in one moment? This is how it looks. Actually, since the start of the full-scale invasion, I'm sure that Ukrainian soldiers have surprised the world not once. And at the very start, everyone believed Ukraine will collapse, Zelensky will escape. And right now we see Ukrainian soldiers who continue controlling lots of territories in the Kursk region. We see explosions and destructions of military objects and oil refineries all around Russia. We see Russian economy collapsing. We see people fleeing Russia. And why not trust Ukraine? Why not let Ukraine do what we need to defeat the evil and secure this part of the world, Europe, and actually guarantee respect to international agreements and laws that we desperately need for the operation of this world. And imagine that the defeat of Russia also means fewer problems, fewer hybrid special military operations on the territories of your countries, because right now Russia is responsible for lots of things that spoil your life hundreds and thousands kilometers away from Moscow. That's the way they shake the world. They need this kind of chaos, and unfortunately they may have agents in different parts of the world, like Orban. And this week I was traveling to Warsaw. I spent one day, and I've been a trainer at a beautiful NGO leadership workshop, and I watched Euronews in English there in my hotel room, and I loved how EU deputies and various representatives of the European Union expressed their opinion about Orban, and he had to listen to it. I know I have lots of good subscribers and friends in Hungary, and you think differently, and I do believe that Orban is a problem not just for Ukraine, not just for our integration or joining of the NATO, but he is also a big problem for the good people of Hungary. But I was actually surprised we don't see much of that in Ukraine, how open in their evaluation of Orban's peace talks and Orban's corruption and Orban's political moves inside the country, immigration policies and so on, other MPs were, and it made me smile a couple of times. If you share all these democratic values, respect for human life, and you want to see dictators neutralized and just like de-dictated, subscribe. We often discuss that on the channel, hopefully making it more closer in time, because it is important to protect democracy on the front lines, in the conversation, persuade those who doubt, and illustrate how this kind of behavior can lead, disrespect, or just like, let's not care, everything is not that obvious, lead to serious troubles. Have a look at the North Korea society. I cannot imagine people live like that in the 21st century, totally zombified, having no real imagination of what is life like outside their borders, hungry, poor, surrounded by fear and hatred. And there are rumors that thousands of North Korea soldiers will come first to Russia, do the training, and then will be transferred to the front lines. And I feel very sorry for this poor, miserable people who, from what we know, are in very bad health, know nothing. And I promise you that when we capture them, we will feed them, and perhaps time in Ukrainian captivity will be the best period of their life. But this is also a very vivid symptom that Putin is running out of people. They've lost hundreds and thousands of their soldiers for nothing, literally. Since May, they tried to capture the size of territory that the Ukrainian soldiers managed to get in Kursk in just 2 weeks. Don't forget about that, especially those people who still live by Russian image created by propaganda. And they already hire lots of people, like from Nepal, from North Korea, and I feel very sorry for this poor people who know nothing about Russia, Ukraine, who know nothing about this kind of war, and they simply come to be a short pause while meat grinders are working. And please see the symptoms of Russia's weakness, of Russia's collapse, and that's why we have to stand strong, to stand confident. There are lots of symptoms of this collapse, and once again, it's inevitable. And good people have to unite, and I also want to express my sympathy and to tell you that we follow in Ukraine. We pray that everything is fine with the people who suffered from the Hurricane Milton. Seems like a bad hurricane period. And I know that many of your places now remind some of the Ukrainian territories, but this is another reminder how strong the nature can be, and how, when I look at the Ukrainian territories destroyed by the Russian invaders, I think how evil human beings can be, something that seemed totally impossible for me just a war ago, because I was living in this normal environment, believing that people cannot be that evil. But unfortunately they can, and our task is to defeat them, to demilitarize them, thus saving not just Ukrainians, Europeans or Americans, but also Russians, zombified Russians. And also teach them democracy. Please share the videos that you like on your social media platforms. Join the channel if you're new. Subscribe to my Instagram, X, Threads, and Discord. All the links that you need are in the description of this channel. We also have a lot of really good items in our merch shop. They work well as reminders and conversation starters about Ukraine. Thank you for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons and sponsors of the channel, and helping me film and write more. And most importantly, thank you for standing with Ukraine. Slava Ukraini!